here with Arbel Shemesh of Fire Mountain Gems and Beads. And Arbel is an artist and designer, and you're going to show us something really interesting. It's Bedouin crochet.
Yes, the Bedouins of the Sinai Desert developed this crochet stitch, and as you can see in the photo of this young woman from the Bedouin tribe, she has white beads on the top of her veil and the bottom.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a crochet stitch, and it actually has a very practical reason for being there. It holds her veil down with the desert winds.
Oh.
Yeah, for the desert.
Practical and beautiful.
Exactly. So for our purposes, I made a necklace with the same stitch. And so this is the necklace we're going to be making, and when you crochet with beads, you string all the beads onto the spool first.
So every single thing is on first before you even start your first stitch?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, and you can use either a silk thread or a nylon thread, whatever you prefer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to string the fringe beads on first here, and then the top row beads.
Okay, because that's going to be the last on.
Exactly, yeah, it's going to bring it closest to the crochet hook.
Right, and you said you could use either type of thread.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So this is a beading tool that helps you string beads. And it's really wonderful. Up till now, to make this necklace, there was just a lot of tedious stringing. Now it's very fast. I'm using a long needle, stiff needle. I kind of brace it on the side and twirl. And you can see, as I dip my needle on into the bowl, I'm picking up an array of beads.
Okay.
And you just keep stringing this on. Now, in the instructions on the website, I have a formula that will tell you how many inches of each bead to string on.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So we can get a little bit more specific there.
It makes it very easy.
Perfect. So as you said, the blue beads, which are on the bottom, goes on first because they're the last things you're going to do. So this is
so you can see here I have the top row beads on closest to the crochet hook.
Okay.
And I've made a slip knot. And I move 6 beads down to the crochet hook. And then I capture those beads and chain stitch a couple of stitches. Now, you will be able to see that you're having the right tension on the chain stitches after you have a couple of groups of beads. Because what you want is the groups of beads to sit nicely side by side.
Okay.
You can see they sit side by side. They don't collide into each other.
Perfect.
And there isn't a lot of space in between. That's what you want. So after you crochet all your groups of 6 beads, you're going to have the top row that's going to look like this. And
pretty.
We ended up at the top of the row, and we want to get to the bottom of the row here. So what I've done is chain stitch 1, and then go around the bead here and stitch again. So you can see now I'm at the bottom of the group of beads, and it's time to put your fringe on. Now what I use to measure my fringe is my finger. It's just handy. It's just right there.
It's right there.
You know, so it works for me. I like things to be easy. So I just measure my finger, and then I know all the fringes are basically the same size, and I capture that group.
Okay.
Like so. And if you
remember...
you're
just using a regular crochet needle, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you remember on the first row here, I chain stitch between each group. Well, you don't need to do that between the fringe, on the fringe row. You basically just measure your beads and you go on to your next group. And this will sit well. Again, capture the beads like so, and make sure they don't go through the loop.
Okay.
Here we go. And chain them together.
Perfect.
And you've got your next fringe.
So you just continue doing that all the way across, so you have fringe all the way around the dangle.
Basically you'll have a necklace that looks like this. So at this point we want to put ties on. And what I've done is I've taken this thread here and this thread here, I've divided them in half and put the two groups together so that you can see I've made a tie over here, and that's basically done by just chain stitching.
Just all the way across.
All the way across. And then once you're finished and you have your two ties, like this, you might consider the necklace finished. I mean, you might look at that and go, you know, that's as far as I need to go. But you can add the fluffy eyelash yarn, which comes from the same card you can see there, and you just hook it on to the necklace like so. And what I like to do is I like to space my stitches about a ½ inch apart. The reason for this is the eyelash yarn is kind of long.
Right.
And it's really, you know, it can tend to take over the necklace.
Yeah, or it gets tangled around
right.
it. Yeah.
So just space it as you go across, and you know, you could use different colors, or you can get bored with one color, take it off, and add another color.
Perfect.
At a later date.
Well, that seemed pretty easy. Let's see the final project again, and then you've also brought with you some variations of what you can do with it. You can see the one that we made, but I love the different colors. But over here, starting with this one, tell us a little bit about the beads that you used there.
Well, they are number 6 beads and some crystals that really add sparkle. And of course, you can see the eyelash yarn is really long on this one.
Yeah,
it makes quite a statement. The one next to it is actually made with much smaller beads, size 11. I suggest that after you make the first one, maybe you'll go for the smaller seed beads.
And no eyelash.
And no eyelash.
Perfect. And then you can see some of them with all the same beads and crystals too.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Arbel. That was very interesting. Next up is Katie Hacker.